Stuart, Chikur,
Yes, Shakur.
I just read something from Rudy where he said, if I get it correctly, consciousness is the understanding and control of instinct. Can you speak about that?
Okay. All right. Well, look, instinct is the initial energy that gets you to do something. Consciousness is developing a craft inside yourself so that you can use that energy to build a deep inner life. You need instinct. I mean, anyone who negates instinct is going to really live a very dull and probably unspiritual life. But once we begin to listen to our instincts, those first impressions, that initial thing, that message that truly sent to us from God, we need the consciousness, the craft, the ability to use that energy in a way in which it helps us to develop a spiritual life. I hope that's clear. I don't know where else to go with this. And I think, what Rudy said is extremely wise. And he also was up against the same kind of battle that I'm up against, which was getting people to understand how essential it is, to build consciousness, to build the craft, to build the ability, to transcend the ordinary and the mundane in life, and to truly use their instincts, that energy as, look, I just finished about 100 poems or something like that, maybe more. Every one of them came from instinct. Every single one of them. And what happened was, over years of learning this, I developed a craft to turn them into what I think, I don't know, is a fairly good book of poetry. So these two things work together. Understand, most art that is mathematical and in the mind and the brain, and look, I would say Bach and music, they use mathematics, but without the inspiration, the music would be really dull. And what inspired Bach was his connection with God. So these things work together. We have to, our job is developing consciousness, the craft, so that when Shakti flows into our system, we know exactly how to utilize it and how to make it help us to grow and to evolve. It's a very important subject. And look, honestly, lately I've been talking about this so much, but it's a very real subject and a very real step in the inner growth of anybody that practices any kind, whether it's what I teach or anyone else teaches. Meditation is developing consciousness, developing the craft of how to use Shakti to build a strong chakra system. Otherwise, we're like water that flows, we're like a rock in the middle of a river and the water just flows past us. A boulder in the middle of a river. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? That's what training is all about, learning how to do it. I spent 6 years with Rudy learning how to do it. Then at least 20 years after that, developing what I learned from Rudy in how to do it. And I'm still learning today, how to assimilate that Shakti that is constantly pouring into my system and using it, to continue to develop a strong inner life, stronger inner life. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? The hard part, the hard part about all this is that it comes back to each and every one of us. We can't fluff it off. We can't blame somebody else. We have to take full and complete responsibility, developing that kind of consciousness inside ourselves. And that's really probably one of the most difficult aspects of this, because people are very good at fluffing it off, procrastinating, blaming other people, when in reality, they have to take full responsibility to develop the kind of consciousness I'm talking about. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? And honestly, that's all I ask. I keep telling you all, I'm here to give it away, everything that I've ever learned. And I truly respect and love people when I see them taking it. That to me is the greatest gift you can give me, honestly. And I was told the same thing by Rudy. And what did I know? I was a young, spiritually gifted, jerky kid. And I used to listen to him tell me these things, and it took years for me to understand them. Maybe you all not as thick as I was. I don't know. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
So Stuart, is developing consciousness and healing happen at the same rate or differently?
No, not necessarily at the same rate, but developing consciousness and then using that never mind just developing consciousness, using that consciousness, to build an inner life like the one I'm talking about, that will lead to healing. You got to have the inner life. I mean, I've seen healers just shrivel up and almost die in front of me because the negative energy they were taking out of people was so strong, it could kill them. So you got to develop the system. And when you have that kind of strength inside, it organically opens up healing and mudra and all kinds of aspects of spirituality, astral traveling and, et cetera, et cetera. So the development of consciousness and healing do not occur, simultaneously. One has to build an inner life that it really enables one to do this in a profound way. And then, I'll repeat it, organically, it just takes place. Again, it just gets back to one's responsibility and commitment to a spiritual life. How deeply are we all committed to a spiritual life? And then, was Jenny, patience. Patience with oneself, with other people, with life, with everything. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? I mean, this is all basic common sense. It's not, some way out new age way of looking at it. It's just common sense. If you want to be a writer, you got to develop the craft. Once you develop the craft, you open and allow the inspiration to flow through you and you can craft it. If you want to be a dancer, it's the same thing. A musician, it's the same thing. An engineer, a plumber, an electrician, it's exactly the same thing. You've got to develop the craft. That's the consciousness that enables the inspiration to flow through you and create internally and externally. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? I hope this is all clear, because this is absolutely the foundation of everything Rudy taught. Exactly what I'm talking about now. And sometimes I think it's him talking through me, I really do, because I don't go around talking like this all day. I think it's Rudy and Nityananda, and they come through this way. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, if there are no more questions, there'll be a class tomorrow evening. And God bless you all. Thank you. I can't tell you how much I learn in these classes, and I'm very grateful to everybody that attends them. So bless you all, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody tomorrow. I mean, frankly, anyone who comes to this class fits right into my heart, even if I never see them again. They go right there, So bless you all, and hopefully I'll see everybody tomorrow evening.
Thank
Good night, Stuart. Good night.
you,
Thank
Stuart.
you very much.
Bye.
Thank you.